Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. You know it. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this video, I really hope this video gets considerable views because there's something at the back end of this video, there's something I really want to share with people that I've learned the hard way. And this isn't just about left and right, conservative and liberal, and the way you look at relationships or men and women. There's something I really need to share with you guys at the end of this video. Okay, it's about Steven Crowder. All right, I've never liked this guy. Never. He just reminds me of Nick Fuentes and Ben Shapiro and all these other misogynistic creeps. I'm definitely. I don't look at things the same way they do. I'm going to talk about the video. It's a ring cam video that popped up. I think it was from 2021. And it's on the back porch, I think, of their home. He says something. I'm not sure if it's both, if he has another home or what. But anyway, his wife is, I'd have to guess, a good 8 or 9 months pregnant, as they say, ready to pop. Okay, and they're arguing. Like I said, this is caught on the ring cam. And I understand. We're peeking into somebody's private life here, a private life between a man and a woman. And it's easy to judge. But like I said, there's more to this. Stay till the end of this video. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to try to sum it up. The link's right down below. It's appalling. When I see a video like this, I realize why I am left leaning for life, the way I look at relationships. I grew up, like I told you guys before, my dad died when I was 9. I grew up with my mother and my sister, and I've always looked at relationships 50-50. I'll talk about the relationships I've been in since I've been clean and sober in the last 16 years. 2 serious year-long, multi-year relationships. And they were with very strong women. But I always looked at it 50-50. Like I didn't deserve to I didn't demand discipline and respect from just because I'm a man. I look at that as abuse and ridiculous. I was watching Archie Bunker, All in the Family. There was a special on last week where it was on all weekend. And that was 50 years ago. And you look at the way 50 years ago, and it's still, nothing's changed today. There's still these men that just believe that they deserve, the woman is basically, it's their property. I'm going to talk more of that. I want to talk about Steven Crowder's view of Texas divorce laws too. That's something very important. Okay, so anyway, in this video, the link's down below. I want you guys to watch this. Like I said, we're kind of peeking into a private life of a man and woman. I understand that, but it's just appalling. It's appalling. It's abusive what Steven Crowder is doing here to his wife. It's ridiculous. If I ever found out that any man, was talking to my sister or my mother, even if it was their husband, talking to them like this, they'd be getting a visit from me. Okay, so Steven Crowder's sitting on a couch, and here's the thing that drives me nuts. He's got his hat on backwards, and I just can't stand this. It's so juvenile. I can't. Anybody not in their teens that's still wearing a baseball cap backwards on their head is either trying to cover up their baldness or is just immature. So that's neither here nor there. So he's sitting and he's smoking and he's got his legs up and he's telling his wife that she can't take the car to go run errands, to buy groceries for him. And she's standing there 8-9 months pregnant, pretty much begging to take the car. And he's saying, no, you can't take it because you're not. He asks her, how do you respect men? And he says to her, she's not worthy of being a wife, that she's not doing wifely things. I wrote down some of the stuff he says. You actually have to watch this video yourself. So he's sitting there and he says, it's not fair that if you take the car. He says, we'll switch roles and then I'll go buy the groceries. And to him, he lists working with his grill and getting wood pellets. So he's saying that's something she's supposed to be doing, getting wood pellets for his grill and setting up his grill. Because he's talking about we'll reverse roles here. And he says, it's not fair. Now, this is another thing I don't understand. Every relationship I've been in, I'm not wealthy by any means. I'm probably more towards poverty. And every relationship I've been in, we've had 2 cars. This guy is supposed to be a top YouTuber making millions, and you're telling me that they only have 1 car in their family? What is the story with that, first of all? And, she's saying, she just wants to go and get out of the house, and which she has every right to do. And he's saying, no, I don't want to be left here. Because then he lists these things. He says, I can't go to my parents. I can't go to the gym. I can't talk to my friends. I can't go home. He says those 4 things if she takes the car. Okay. He can't go to the gym. His pregnant wife wants to go shopping, for groceries, for, doing the chores. And he's saying, well, then he can't go to the gym or talk, like I said, man, it makes it so clear to me why I am a lefty, why I'm to the left, why I am a liberal, because I can't imagine treating a woman like this. It's ridiculous. This guy, besides for the misogyny, he's acting so juvenile, like he's a teenager. And then it gets ugly, and then she said basically she keeps, you can tell she's afraid of him because she keeps saying, look, I love you so much, and she's trying, you could tell, I've seen, I've seen this, she's trying to calm him down. Look, I love, she's trying to calmly, and he says, okay, he just wants her to walk the dog. She's 8 or 9 months pregnant, and he's like, okay, just put on the gloves and walk the dog, and just do that. You say you love me, why won't you do it? And it's just, if you don't walk, your 8 or 9 month pregnant wife demanding this, I don't know how big the dog is. And the reason he wants her to put on gloves is because she's scared that this dog medicine will affect her pregnancy. And he's there demanding, well, you don't love me if you don't walk the dog. And I'm getting angry just watching this. And, like I said, God forbid anybody does this to a woman that I love. I will visit them and bring hell with me, man. If I ever caught somebody, a guy, if I ever saw any guy doing this to a woman. And then she says, we're at an impasse, which is a mature way to say, look, we agree to disagree. It's a very mature way to try to de-escalate. And he says, you have no discipline, so he's trying to goad her into arguing more, into walking the dog. He keeps saying, walk the dog. And then she says this, she says, your abuse is sick, Stephen. I think she says, Stephen, your abuse is sick. And he goes, effing watch it, and I'm just, any guy, any man, we all know what that means. You're stepping over a line where this is going to get physical. I don't hear it. When I see that and I hear that, you can't interpret that any other way. And he's saying this to his 9-month pregnant wife because she wants to go grocery shopping and she won't walk the dog and give the dog medicine that she needs to wear gloves so it doesn't affect her. It's just unbelievable, unfreaking believable. And then then there's a part of the conversation. Look at the clip below, and then he actually threatens her. He says he's gonna F her up. His 8 or 9 month pregnant wife. This is why I'm not a conservative. This is why I don't have any respect for conservatives. This is the whole Trumper MAGA thing. And there's women that go along with this. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Like I said, I grew up with my sister and my mother, and I've been with over 100 women. There's 4 women that I've loved with all my heart. 4 women that I still love today. 2 or 3 women that I've lived with for multiple years. And the last woman, Audrey, I'll talk about her more, that I was going to marry and we ended up breaking up. I'm going to talk about more of her in a second. Let's talk about this Texas no-fault law. Because he says he put out a statement after this, and this is one thing she said. Oh, and by the way, so when she had the twins, I guess she had, he wasn't even there. He didn't even show up for the birth of his twins. He filed for divorce, and then he goes in the media and he puts all this stuff out there, and he started complaining about Texas no-fault divorce, and he explains it like this. He says a woman can come with no skill set, no education. No money, only her good looks, and marry a man, and then stay with him for a little while, and then take half of his stuff, and that's just not fair. That's wrong. He's all upset about this, And I'm like, are you freaking ridiculous? Are you kidding me? Okay, so I was reading. He dated her for 2 years, right? And then they were he was engaged for a year. So we're talking 3 years. What about his judgment? What about his whole role in this? Like, if he was gonna, for 3 years he's dating somebody that he knows has no skill set, has no education, has no money, only her good looks. Where's his judgment in all that? Where's his role in all this? He's dating her. He's obviously dating her because he thinks she's hot. Where's his judgment? So then he agrees to marry her because she's hot, even though she doesn't have a skill set, even though she doesn't have money, because he just wants her body. And then when she actually decides to leave him, when she wakes up, he's all upset about that. So basically what he's saying here is he wants to go find a woman that doesn't have a skill set, that's very hot, so he could own her. Because he doesn't like this Texas no-fault law, the divorce law, where, so the woman has to, if he could find a woman that doesn't have a skill set, she'll be dependent on him. If he could find a nice, hot woman that doesn't have the education or the skill set or the money or anything like that, then she could be dependent on him, and he could basically have a nice little slave, a blow-up doll of his own. Basically, where's his role in all that? His judgment for those 3 years they were dating. He had to get to know this woman. He agreed to marry her. Where's his Where's his role in all that? So he's basically saying, once, if he could find a woman like this, then he gets to keep her forever. It's his say. It's ridiculous. Okay, now I'm going to switch to something totally different, okay? We all say and do things. I've said a lot of things that I regret. I'm going to talk about that right now. This is neither left nor right, okay? I was dating Audrey for a good 2 or 3 years. We were living together. We came together, when we were in our 40s, or almost 50. She was married at a time. I was doing my thing. She went through treatment for alcohol and drugs. I went through treatment for drugs, and we ended up living in the same town. And here's the kicker. We were each other's boyfriend and girlfriend, first boyfriend and girlfriend, going all the way back to when we were 10 years old in 5th grade. And we were apart for three decades, 30, 40 years. And then we found each other in sobriety and started living together. And it was like, it was like a miracle. And it got to a point, I was new to clean relationships, and I have somewhat of like a social anxiety. And it got to the point where, she was very family orientated, and her family took me in. They were a very conservative family, and they took me right to their heart. They were kind of on the wealthy side, Lithuanian immigrants, somewhat wealthy, and they took me right into their bosom, and they accepted me. And I complained because she wanted to go see her family every weekend, and I just wanted to do something out for my, it got to a point where it was almost every weekend. And the thing is, looking back, I didn't realize what I had. I had people that loved me and that accepted me and they wanted me to be a part of their life, and I complained about it. Okay, it gets worse. So I kind of I was kind of the opposite from Steven Crowder. I would put up a wall. I would turn to ice. I wouldn't get abusive. I just wouldn't say anything at all, which I realize now, looking back, I realize too late, is I'm not perfect. It was a kind of emotional abuse where I just didn't talk. I remember this one morning where she came out of the bathroom. She was getting ready for work, putting her makeup on. I was out working out in the living room. And I heard her start to cry. And we hadn't talked in days. We'd sleep together in bed and we wouldn't talk. I just phased her out. And she came out of that bathroom crying. And I think about this. I think about this every single day for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. I think about this one particular day. She comes out of the bathroom and she's just crying, bawling. She says, "Daryl, I don't want to lose you." And she hugs me and we put our arms around each other. And I start crying because I know it's too late. I know I pushed this too far. I put up a wall. And at this point, she had started boxing up her stuff and started to move out. This was just back in 2018 or 2019. So she ended up moving out. Like I said, I pushed it too far. Part of me thought she just wanted to get married again. I thought she just wanted a husband like her sister. And I was so wrong. And I realized too late. And we stayed friends. We would go on vacations together. We never, neither one of us dated anybody else. Her living in her place, me living in our place, not going out together, but still in love with each other, still soulmates. Okay, June of 2021, she calls me up and she says, Daryl, I'm moving to Florida. And I could hear that, she's sad in her voice, but she needs to move on a little bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to move down to Florida too, because I wanted to move to Florida. I didn't want to lose her still. This was in 2021. So I'm like, I'm going to come down there too. You better let me stay there, like I still, we still both want to be with each other. Okay, 2021, June. And then as soon as she gets to Florida, she gets COVID. This is a true story. And she went right into ICU. And I never talked to her again from that day I left her apartment. And I told her, I'll be coming down to Florida. I'll be staying with you. And she said, nope. She's like, you better, and there was hope. We're going to get back together. We're soulmates. I regretted, what I had lost. And then she died on August 5th of 2021. She died of COVID-related pneumonia. And every single day since then, I've thought about the things that I said to her. I thought about how I froze her out, and how much that hurt her. Then her sister was cleaning out her apartment and sent me a diary she found from when Audrey was like 10 or 11 years old. We used to meet each other. Our families would bring us ice skating at Taft School together. And she was 10 years old, and she's right, I'm going to meet Daryl. And I still have this page. I could put it on my thumbnail, written in her little 10-year-old writing. I'm going to meet Daryl skating tonight. He's my boyfriend. I love him. And I saw this after she died. And I realized this woman was my soulmate. This was the person I was meant to be with, and I turned her away. And I think about her coming out of that bathroom, crying, saying, I don't want to lose you, like letting her guard down. We both said mean things to each other, but letting her guard down and saying, I don't want to lose you. And I think about that every day. And all of a sudden I'm like, I got to call her. I got to apologize. I got to talk to her about this. I think about the things I said. And then I realize I can't. She's dead. She's gone. And this all happened in a month. I never saw this coming. She was a healthy 55-year-old woman, healthy. We worked out together, healthy, as strong as a horse. I never saw this coming, and now I can't apologize to her. She's gone forever. Everything I said, I remember that every mean thing I said to her, I think about every single day, and I can't apologize for it. I have to carry that baggage with me for the rest of my life. I can't apologize. I have to carry it with me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't let your ego. Don't let things you say in the heat of the moment. Think about this. Next time you get in an argument with somebody you love, think about it. Because you could lose them before you even know it. And then think about the things you're saying to them right now. Because you will remember them. And it'll be too late. And I mean this with all my heart. I hope this video gets some views, you guys. Have a good Saturday.